Mighty men of God, this is Joe Martin here with Real Men Connect, where we help good men become godly men by connecting to successful husbands, great fathers, and strong leaders. Guys, we're doing our Real Men Ride Along today. I'm actually on my way to meet my wife and my daughter for breakfast. We're celebrating my daughter's 13th birthday today. Pray for me. She's turning a teenager today. But I wanted to shoot this quick video because I posted something for Faith, my daughter, on Facebook, a poem that I wrote for her. But I wanted to talk about something else that I wanted to put on Real Men Connect because I think a lot of men can relate to this. Faith is not my biological daughter, but when I married my wife 3 years ago, when I met her 8 years ago, Faith, dad had walked out and I stepped in, and it has forever changed my life. You have to understand, I was a father of a son, a teenage son at the time, who's now in college, but I'd never been a father of a daughter. So you can imagine the challenge that I had of trying to learn to adjust, because I realized that you cannot raise boys and girls the exact same way. So I had to tap into a lot of skills that I didn't have before. And so as we celebrate her 13th birthday today, I want to just share reflect on some insights that I learned. And guys, I have a lot more to learn. And I know there's a lot of men out there, especially on Real Men Connect, who have multiple daughters, and they've done it for multiple years, a lot longer than I have. I've only been a father of a daughter for the last 5 years. And so I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I learned. And one of the ways I wanted to simplify this is that people always say, well, Joe, all you have to do is just love your child. Well, I found out that love is not spelled L-O-V-E. It's spelled T-I-M-E. Let me say it again. Love is not spelled L-O-V-E. It is spelled T-I-M-E. So we're talking about putting time in. So to kind of help us remember some of the reflections that I want to share with you, I'm going to actually use the letters T-I-M-E to kind of explain to you. First of all, the T. The T in time to me, especially for my daughter, and I realize that daughters are a little bit different than boys, is that touch is vitally important. Let me say that again. Touch is vitally important. And we're talking about showing signs of affection. Because now I'm not a very affectionate person. I wasn't raised that way. I grew up in a household where we rarely touched and hugged and that kind of thing. And so it's something that I've had to outgrow and had to reprogram and relearn. Because I realized that if I don't show my daughter how to be touched appropriately, that some boy is going to be out there and show how to do it inappropriately. And so my daughter is very, very affectionate, just like her mom. And so I've had to learn to show her affection in her love language, because that is her love language, is definitely sense of touch. So, but even if that's not your daughter's love language, I think touch is vitally important. So make sure that you show and teach your daughter how what appropriate touch looks like and feels like, and so she would know what is inappropriate when it comes to some boy trying to get close to her. Okay, but anyway, I spent a little bit much time on that. Okay, now the I in time is, what I've learned is that you have to be intentional with daughters. Let me say that again. You have to be very intentional with daughters. Now, when I refer to intentional, I mean intentional attention. Intentional attention. That means when I'm in Faith's presence, when I'm in my daughter's presence, I intentionally make sure that I'm totally present. That means I'm not on my cell phone. I'm not talking while I'm in the car with her to anyone else, that I'm always engaged with her. Now, you say, well, Joe, why is that such a big deal? Because I don't want her to have to crave somebody's attention because her dad didn't give her attention. And guys, we know that in this day and age, we are distracted by a lot of things. So we have to be very intentional with our daughters by giving them our full attention. Be intentional about giving attention. And now the M. Now the M in time, to me, reflects meaningful communication. M is meaningful communication. See, it's easy to talk to our kids and tell them, oh, clean up your room, do your homework, make sure you go to bed on time, take a shower, take a bath, or whatever it may be, brush your teeth. That is not meaningful communication. Meaningful communication to me, at least when it comes to my daughter, is getting into her world, finding out what she likes, what she dislikes. I need to know what her passions are, what her struggles are, her emotional struggles. Now, guys, I know that can be kind of difficult for us sometimes, but again, we have to model that for them. And so having meaningful communication with my daughter is getting to her world, getting to know what she's dealing with, what she's going through, so I can be one of those first sources that she can come to as far as when she's struggling with anything. So meaningful communication and being intentional about that as well. And last but certainly not least, the E in time. We said T-I-M-E. The E in time reflects being an example. E is an example. Guys, I can't stress this one enough. I intentionally, again, that word again, intentional, I intentionally date my daughter. We go on a date every other Saturday in which I'm intentional about my time with her. We have meaningful communication and I share with her a lot of things. But the example that I'm setting for her by taking her out on a date, when I take her out on a date, I no longer become dad, I become her date. That means I don't lecture her about things she's done in the week or what she needs to improve on. What I do is I treat her as how I would like a young man to treat her on a date, which means that he is listening to her. He is sharing with her. He's asking her questions. He's getting into her world. He is very polite and very respectful of her. Now, by doing this, you're talking about 26 times or more a year, by having these intentional dates with my daughter, she now knows what an example of a real man is on a date. And that's the whole point. Guys, I've learned now that if I want my daughter to date and eventually marry a godly man, I must first represent a godly man to her. So those are my tips or my reflection of being a father of a daughter for the last few years as I go to celebrate her 13th birthday. So remember that we are males by birth, but we are men by choice. And we must be intentional about making that choice because a male is a terrible thing to waste. Make sure you share this video with any man you think could benefit from it. It can be blessed by it. And as always, be blessed and most importantly, stay in his grip.